Let's talk about the 7-day fast I just finished. Prior to this fast, I had quit my job, and shortly after quitting my job, I started focusing on eating a little bit better, being a little bit more active, doing stuff around the house. Like I built steps for the back deck that were needing replaced, propped up the back deck where it was sagging a little bit, just being a little bit more active, not necessarily exercising, but just being more active, eating a little bit better. A little bit over a month, I realized I was down 15 pounds. Super proud of myself, but I needed just a little bit more. And this is where things just kind of aligned. I had been looking into fasting, wasn't really sold on it, but thought it was an interesting idea. And then all of a sudden, me and a few of my friends decided in a little bit over a month, we were going to go to Holiday World. And I love Holiday World. I haven't been there in a long time. It's an amazing theme park in southern Indiana. And I was like, I need to lose more weight so as I can ride a roller coaster. And obviously that's not like my primary health goal is to ride a roller coaster, but definitely that would be a plus. So I decided to jump into a fast. Now the parameters of this, the goal was 30 days. I ended up doing 7, which is fine. I'm very happy with the results. But the fast, I was only doing water, unsweet tea, black coffee, and the occasional soda water. That really helped with cravings. Now, some of the things you need for a prolonged fast like this is definitely electrolytes. I got a couple different electrolyte solutions to add to my water. You have to keep your electrolytes up. You have to stay hydrated. No questions asked. That is absolute a requirement. The other thing I got was some water-soluble vitamins because those you just pee out. So I had to get some water-soluble vitamins to keep those levels up in my system. Now with fat-soluble vitamins, since you're not eating anything, they're not really going to absorb. But if you're not already vitamin deficient, as your body burns your fat, the vitamins stored in that fat are going to release. And that's going to help you out a little bit. Now I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that's enough to keep you healthy and alive. But for a 7-day fast, for me, it was fine. I feel great. I've not felt terrible. I was tired, but that's because there's no glucose in my system, no blood sugar. So at least very low levels. So that's the bare requirements that you need for a water fast. As I got into day 1, I started walking a little bit, day 1 and 2. One of the weird things on the first couple of days is like I would walk by my desk and there's like a can of peanuts on it, and like I would just like feel the urge to like reach for it every time I walked by it. It was kind of funny. So like I'd just be walking, and then like out of my peripheral I'd see those nuts, and then like I could feel my body just wanting to reach out to it. It was wild. Getting into day 3, the hunger kind of went away. Those urges to grab the snacks went away. It was really weird. Also on day 3, I started to realize my anxiety was all but gone. It was really good. Day 3 might have been one of the best days of the fast as far as how I felt. And back to the hunger stuff, I meal prepped a bunch of food for my wife, and the whole time I'm cooking it, no urge to eat it. And I was pretty happy with that because one of my struggles is cravings and control around food. And that's really one of the key things about this fast is proving to myself that I can control myself around food. I have the control, not the food. And that I think I've been successful on. Now getting into day 4, when I woke up, I had a spiking anxiety. And I was really pissed about this. I went and weighed myself. I'd only lost a single pound. Throughout the fast, I averaged 3 pounds a day. Okay, so when I woke up super anxious, I'd only lost a pound, and I kind of wallowed for half an hour, and then all of a sudden I was just like, no, fuck this. I'm going to go for a walk. And I walked quite a while, and that made me feel really good. By the end of the day, I was in a much better headset. So obviously we all know exercise is good for both the body, mind, and soul. So that's a key takeaway from this. Now day 5 and 6, that's when the low energy really kicked in. Obviously at this point, all of my stored glucose in the liver is probably gone, and I'm solely running off of fat reserves. Now, your body has to go through processes to break down the fat and turn it into energy. You're going to run a little bit hotter. Your temperature might rise a little bit. You're not going to run a fever, but you're going to notice you're a little bit warmer. And so that just resulted in me being very low energy. I had to force myself to do stuff. You have to power through it, because otherwise you're just going to waller around. You'll probably notice in some of my videos while I was doing this that I was laying in bed. It's because I got done doing all my stuff for the day, and I would just collapse in bed and like, all right, this is now time to make a video. So that's why I was in bed for those couple days. But 5 and 6, really low energy. I started having some nausea. This is whenever I really started to not feel great, and this is when I was like, all right, I'm gonna shoot for day 7 now. This isn't about torturing myself. This is about proving that I can control what I put in my mouth. Day 7, started getting really excited. This is the final day of the fast, and whenever I got to midnight and I weighed myself, I was down 21.2 pounds in 7 days, and I was thrilled. And let me tell you, I have never been more excited for chicken broth in my life. Okay, when you finish a fast, you can't go straight into eating. You have to ease into it. So I started off with broth. That night I heated up that broth. I got like a half coffee mug of broth, and my God, it's the best broth I've ever had in my life. Like, oh my God, I loved it. My wife was just looking at me, and I'm over there like, I looked so happy with my broth. The next day, early, I'm still just drinking broth. But then I went to the grocery store. I spent $400 on healthy food, healthy snacks, and a bunch of stuff to make some meal preps. So we're really set on groceries because we're meal prepping a lot now. And I'm going to go over in the future some of my meal prep items, some of my snacks, and just what I'm eating throughout the day. So look forward to that content. We'll go over macros. I wasn't sure if I wanted to start counting macros like calories and protein and fiber and stuff, but I feel like it's going to be pretty important to be doing stuff like that. But yeah, I get back from the grocery store and I start cooking a big ass pot of cabbage soup. Now this was just 2 heads of cabbage, a small bag of diced carrots, threw an onion in there diced up, and then a can of spinach. I love spinach, and then just a bunch of broth with some seasonings that I had bought. You gotta season your food, folks. We ate that meal. I had gotten Kroger had a 2-pack of this like seafood stuffed salmon on sale or on clearance because it was expiring in a couple of days. So I got that. I had a little piece of the salmon, but my wife got the majority of that. Ate that, and honestly, I did not eat as much as I thought I was going to. I was full pretty quick. I was satisfied. Now, one of the reasons why I'm so big is because I'll eat anything, and that includes healthy foods. I just love food, but it's about control. So some of the key things that happen during the fast, the positives would be lower anxiety. My skin cleared up. I have really bad eczema on my hands, specifically my knuckles, on my feet, like on the knuckles and my toes. Skin cleared up. Wow, didn't expect that. Another thing was lowered anxiety. I have always dealt with bad anxiety, but my anxiety levels have been so low now. It is crazy. I don't understand it. I don't pretend to have a clue of why. Maybe it's just the lowered energy that, I didn't have excess energy getting spent on it being in my head. I don't know. Just lowered energy. It was nice. The other thing, so the negative was after a handful of days, my energy levels were really low, but I was not having sugar crashes. Every single day before this, I would crash throughout the day and just like literally just have to go to sleep. Now with this, my energy levels were really low deep into it, but I wasn't crashing. Some of the other positives have been just lower hunger. I've not been as hungry. During the fast, having a lot of time to reflect on food and what it means to me and how to move forward with that. Now some of the other negatives were nausea in the last few days. I did have a lot of cravings, but they weren't crazy. The hunger in the first couple days is really bad. And then I was sweating a lot. I still, even last night, was sweating a lot. I've been sweating a lot since starting this fast. And then the last thing, probably the worst part of the fast, the electrolyte solution is disgusting. It's just water and a bunch of salts. It's so gross. But you have to drink it. You cannot skip your electrolyte solutions. So going forward, I'm going to go over what I'm eating. I'm going to go over snacks, trying to show a more healthy lifestyle that is obtainable. So I hope you follow along. See you there.